Glad to have you here with Michigan's retirement coach, certified financial planner, Mike Douglas. And you can start the conversation with Mike. Adieu to you, good sir.
That's right.
I bid you adieu.
It's going to be a good day.
If you are listening to the podcast, know that you can watch the body language and the gestures that we throw at each other on our YouTube channel.
Watch the party.
Watch the party unfold. MichigansRetirementCoach.com is where you can go to learn more about Mike and his team and also start the conversation about your own retirement and savings plan. Click the links we've got posted in the show notes. That is where you can also head to our website via those links. And again, our YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe there. Just search Michigan's Retirement Coach on YouTube and you can watch the videos, learn more from Mike and his bevy of knowledge on many things. You were actually talking about how you want to have like an independent podcast, independent of the financial and retirement planning conversation, because you do deep dives on whole lots of things that we do not have enough time to cover here.
I like to nerd out on some stuff.
You sure do. Yeah. Nerding out is putting it lightly.
We talk about homesteading, I'm here. Organic or commercial farming, I'm here.
Who knew?
All types of stuff.
Who knew? Mike's the guy.
Pinewood Derby car racing. I got a lot of experience in that.
Oh, that might. I need you to talk to my husband about that. He likes that kind of stuff. Isn't there a big one in England they do every year?
That's the soapbox derby.
Okay.
That's like adult size one. Pinewood Derby is like what Boy Scouts and do.
Oh, like the
stuff.
little minis?
Yeah. I've done them. Listen, I'm well versed in all of it. We can do it.
It's another podcast. Save it for that other show.
Get ready, America is coming.
In the meantime, let's talk Social Security.
Yes.
Because nothing says fun like getting people stirred up over will they or won't they cut our benefits and what you can do about it in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
We have had conversations before about, well, first of all, the hundreds of different ways that you can file for Social Security. That alone is irritating enough. But working the system to our advantage, I think, is the big question. And I wonder how many people even realize that you have options and there are ways to improve your Social Security standing just based on your particular circumstances. So let's talk about that, because delaying Social Security, we talked about this before, it can increase your monthly benefits for when you decide to take it, if you take it later than when you are first able to.
Yeah.
If you want another reason to put off claiming, you'll make more when the annual cost of living adjusted, aka the COLA, when your COLA kicks in compared to those who claimed early at age 62. So for 2025, the COLA is 2.5%. Again, this is the stuff that makes it frustrating. I mean, Social Security should be something simple, but it's not. So let's talk about the differences. Is this a big enough decision to factor in delaying Social Security and other things we need to know?
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into Social Security planning. One of the most important things is to understand how it fits into your overall picture. Because people oftentimes come in, they say, hey, listen, when should I take my Social Security? I'm like, well, it depends. Do you have a pension? Do you have any annuities paying income? Do you have any real estate giving you income? Are there any other tools that help you float? When do you want to retire? Because if you say, I want to retire right at 62. Okay, great. Well, what other income sources do you have? Because if you stop going to work, you got to pay your own income.
Right.
And it needs to come from your investments. If you have nothing else, but you have a 401k and it's a couple $100,000, well, then you may want to turn that Social Security on right now because it pays right now and it lessens what you have to pull from your investments. So there can be some sense made there. Other times when you have let's say a major age difference between husband and wife, if you have one that's significantly older and we're dealing with a high likelihood of survivorship or widowship, well, in that situation, we may want to consider letting one of the benefits grow as long as we can because the remaining benefit stays. The larger benefit remains. So if you have one person who has a $3,000 benefit, the other one has a $2,000 benefit, well, then if someone dies, the $3,000 benefit sticks around regardless of who it is. So there's strategies there.
Okay.
And there's a lot to it. So to the article's point, the one that we were researching on, when you get the COLA increase, everybody gets the same increase. Right? Like if they say 2.5%, everybody gets the 2.5%, but the big difference is 2.5% on what? Right. If you let it grow more over the years, it can make sense. Here's an analysis I just did for someone this week. I had a lady come in and she was trying to figure out the right maximum benefit for her accounts.
Okay.
And when should she take it? Now, here's the things we need to know. She's a widow, but her husband died very young. And so she was not going to get anything really out of his benefit. So her benefit is her benefit.
Okay.
She's 63 now. And as we went through, she was like, well, I'm retiring this year. And should I turn my Social Security on right away? I've always been told to wait till I get to full retirement age, because that's when I get the most benefit. I said, well, that's not even true. 70 is when you get the most benefit. If you wait, you can wait all the way to 70 to take it. At 70, that's your maximum Social Security benefit. It's the most they ever would have paid you.
Okay.
But that means you have foregone the income all of these years.
Right. Right.
So I said, let's think about it. And I'm going to give you some numbers, right?
How
so
old
we're not
is she
going to go.
now,
She's 63.
Okay.
So I'm not going to go too nerdy, but let's talk a little bit about the numbers just so we
Okay.
can understand it.
Yeah.
If she turns her Social Security on next year,
Yeah.
she gets $2,500 a month.
Okay.
That's $30,000 a year.
Right.
If she waits till the following year, she gets about $2,650 a month.
Okay.
That's $31,800 a year.
Mm-hmm.
If she waits 2 more years, she'll get almost $2,800 a month, which is about $33,600. So I think it's great to get $300 more a month. However, if you don't take it this year and you don't take it next year, so let's just take it. Let's say she waits 2 more years so she can get the $2,800.
Mm-hmm.
That means $33,600.
Mm-hmm.
So in the year, she's going to get $3,600 more than what she
year.
would get if she took it right now.
Right.
However, she didn't take the $30,000 this year, and she didn't take the $30,000 next year.
Right.
So she skipped out on $60,000 to get $3,600 more per year.
Right.
Which means it's going to take her 16.7 years to get back the money she gave up.
The breaking point. Yeah.
Yes. So that means she needs to get to 80 to get that money back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as we went through
and a lot of people live to 80, and a lot of people live well into the 90s, particularly women. So
yeah. Well,
okay.
And for that, but at the same time, it's like, to what end? Like,
right.
So at that point in life, 80, 85, what are we even doing? I mean, most people, I see it. They slow way down. They're not doing all the travel. They're not doing all the crazy stuff. And along the way, this year and next year, she didn't have to pull as much out of her investments to satisfy her income need. Mm-hmm. So as a result, we did some very intentional planning, and it seemed like it made sense. And then as we're going through this conversation, I said, so we need to make it to 80 to have it make sense for you to wait any longer.
Break even point. Mm-hmm.
And that's when she let me know that, well, we've been through some health scares in my family. My dad died young. My mom died at like 80, and I've had cancer twice. I said, okay. Oh, holy cow. Okay. Well, that changes everything. She goes, yeah.
Sure
I said, so why are people telling you to wait? She goes, to get more money. And I said, nope, I don't think we should do that. So for her, it makes sense. We're going to try and take this thing as soon as possible. She's going to retire this year. So January, we're turning on Social Security.
Got it.
Getting every penny out. That is all separate from the whole thing of what if they cut benefits in a few years.
Okay.
Right. That's a whole separate discussion.
Yeah.
And even just that conversation we've had, if you have any questions about that, or if you don't understand, if you're watching and you say, hey, I don't know how this thing's going to work for us, our website is michigansretirementcoach.com. There's a button on there that says start your retirement roadmap today. And click that button, and that'll schedule a time for us to talk to you, to have a phone call or a Zoom or a Teams meeting, and just hear your story and help you understand when you should or should not take Social Security. Again, it's still a personal decision you have to make, but at least you can come armed with information to make the right choice.
Right.
And so to understand that. So that's the first thing.
Okay.
Right. The benefit. The second thing is, are you retiring, and are you still going to maybe do some part-time work? So the thing with Teresa, who I was just talking about, when we went through and we were building her whole plan out, I said, what are you going to do when you retire? She goes, well, I'm thinking about still working. I said, why? She goes, just to keep busy. I can't sit around and do nothing.
Sure.
Okay. So as we went through and mapped out the plan of, does it make sense? How much are you looking to earn?
Right.
Well, I make about $95,000, almost $100,000 a year now. I'll probably make $50,000 a year.
Okay.
Well, if you retire and take Social Security before your full retirement age, which is either 66 or 67.
Okay.
Depending on when you're born.
Yeah.
There is an income limit that you can earn. The income limit right now, $22,320. So if you are taking Social Security, you're not full retirement age, and you are earning income, they start reducing and withholding Social Security benefits from you. They will pull back some of that. And so it's a weird system where you have to run these calculations to see if it makes sense.
Yeah.
But to understand that there is a earnings limit. There's a higher limit if you turn full retirement age this year, but it's a thing you have to calculate in.
Okay.
So understand that there's an income limit. And then the third
basically
thing,
she was working 95 to 100 a year. She's going to retire. She wants to work part-time, understandably, keep herself busy, keeps you young, keeps you sharp. So now she's looking at maybe making about half of her usual earnings. So now she's at $50,000, but she's not full retirement age. She's at 63, not 66 or 67. So the law is if you make more than $22,320 and you're not at full retirement age, 66 or 67, you get penalized. How does that clarify? I mean, I think you just did, but I just need to be more clear. How does that penalty work?
Yeah. So for every $2 over the $22,000 number, for every $2 over, they withhold $1 of Social Security.
Okay. And if she continues to work, you're probably getting ready to explain all this. I'm jumping ahead. Please continue.
That's okay. So
I'm just like, what's going to happen?
So this is going to factor into decision though, because I've had someone who came in and said, "Well, I'm going to be a consultant. I'm going to make probably $60,000," and they're coming from maybe $150,000 to $200,000, and they say, "It doesn't. It's not a big deal. It's only $60,000." I'm like, right, but for every $2 over 22,000, they withhold $1. So we're talking about, let's call it $40,000 over. So that means it's a 2-to-1 thing. So you're $40,000, which means they're going to withhold $20,000 of your Social Security. Now they'll give it back to you starting at age 70, spread out over your lifespan. But if your whole benefit is $25,000 or $30,000, they're going to withhold a good chunk of it. Just because you're earning. Well, at that point, you would be better to let it grow by the 8% because you're not even getting the money back out of it.
Okay.
So that's the calculation. It gets a little muddy, and then that's completely separate from the third big issue, which is, are they going to tax it and how much are they going to tax? That's called provisional income taxing. There is a tax in place for retirees only.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else in America pays this besides those on Social Security. It's called provisional income tax. If you earn too much money, they will tax up to 85% of your Social Security benefits. So
what's considered too much? Is there a standard number?
So it's a bracketed system. There's a 0%, a 50%, and an 85% bracket. For married filing jointly couples, it's not a high number. It's right around $43,000.
That's the zero?
Yeah. No. So no, that's if you are over $43,000 of provisional income, they are taxing 85% of your Social Security.
That's not a low number for the 85% rate. Jeez.
Yeah, it's not like you're living some crazy lifestyle. This isn't like a tax on millionaires and billionaires. This is a federal tax that is there to tax those who are just earning regular money. Joint filers. It's basically $0 to $32,000 is zero. 32,000 to 34,000 or 43,000 is going to be at 50%.
And then
above that is
43.
There. And here's the kicker.
Wow.
They count half of your
Social Security. There's more.
But wait, there's more. They count half of your Social Security benefits in the equation to figure out if they're going to tax your Social Security. There's a lot that goes into it, guys.
There's a lot.
It's moving. It's a moving target, and they keep moving the goalposts on us. And at the end of the day, there's all this federal policy, all these rules, all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's your life and it's your retirement.
Yeah.
And so when you are building out plans, when you are understanding the landscape of retirement, it is hard to keep track of it all. Mm-hmm. There's a whole lot of other stuff, and you retired. Your whole goal was to just stop working, right? Yeah. And then you get into retirement and you go, holy cow, do I need to calculate provisional income tax? Do I need to figure out how, when my Medicare becomes taxable? Mm-hmm. Like all these different things that factor together, and yet all you wanted to do is retire. So it's a complicated and kind of frustrating thing. And that's why we have the conversations with people. If they go to Michigan's Retirement Coach, go to the website, click that button that says start your retirement roadmap today. We will help you map out a game plan for the future to understand Social Security, how it affects you directly, and how you can plan strategies for the future.
There is a lot to do just when it comes to Social Security alone. So let's get to work figuring that out. Again, it's michigansretirementcoach.com. We also have links posted in the show notes or michigansretirementcoach.com.